Okay, my dear learners over there, I will welcome you to our e-learning hub, Go Choice Schools. Together we can, divided we fall, in God we trust. As usual, I am your teacher Hakim. We are going to go through our science lesson 21. I congratulate you upon moving with me right from lesson 1 up to lesson number 21. So it is a great pleasure. Please stay on, concentrate, please. Together we can. So as usual, we normally start with our word bank. So we have 9 words. Today we are having 8 words waiting for us to crack, to spell, and to understand their simple meanings. So this one is read as umbilical. This word is read as umbilical. So it's not umbilical. However, some people pronounce this one as umbilical. It's not umbilical. The word is umbilical. The word is umbilical. So this umbilical, it is an umbilical cord. This is the part that joins the fetus to the placenta, as we discussed earlier on. So and we say that this umbilical cord, it has 2 blood vessels. One, it has the umbilical vein, and also it has the umbilical artery, where this umbilical vein transports oxygenated blood to the fetus, and this umbilical artery carries or supplies the removes or takes away the oxygenated blood from the fetus. Therefore, this umbilical artery is similar to what we call the pulmonary artery. Both of them transport the oxygenated blood regardless of being arteries, whereas the umbilical vein and the pulmonary vein, they are similar in a way that both transport oxygenated blood regardless of being the veins, as we know that all veins transport deoxygenated blood. So this word here, it is the nucleus. This one is the nucleus. So we have some cells that have nucleus. For example, the white blood corpuscles, or the white blood cells, which we also call the leukocytes. And these ones, they play a big role in our body. So they defend the body against pathogens. When I say pathogens, what do I mean? I mean the germs that invade our bodies and cause diseases. They make us fall sick. So this white blood cell, it is part of what we call the immune system. So they engulf. One of the ways they can attack the germs within our bodies, that is by engulfing the germs, and also they can produce what we call the antibodies, like the vaccines do. Alright, so when you look at this white blood cell, it has the nucleus inside it, and this nucleus within a white blood cell controls all the activities taking place within a cell. Okay, so let us move on and look at this word number 3. So this word is read as pulmonary. This one is read as pulmonary. So whereby some people make a mistake of writing pulmonary, they write it as PLU, plu. It is not plu, it is pulmonary. So it is the pulmonary, and we have this one means that anything is connecting to the lungs. Anything connecting to the lungs. Like when you look at our heart, this heart is divided into 4 chambers and 2 sides. So we have this blood vessel, this one here, then this blood vessel, and this blood vessel. So we have what we call the pulmonary circulation, because in our bodies we do have what we call double circulation, meaning that the blood visits the heart twice before going back to all body parts. So here the blood is coming for the first time, then from here the blood is going to the lungs, then from here the blood is coming back from the lungs. So this blood going to the lungs and coming back from the lungs is what we call the pulmonary circulation. So blood is going to the lungs to pick oxygen as it is dropping carbon dioxide plus water vapor as the waste materials that are carried within the blood, and they can be removed by the lungs. That is the pulmonary circulation. And we have 2 pulmonary vessels. This one taking blood to the lungs, it's called the pulmonary artery, and this one bringing blood back from the lungs to the heart, it is called the pulmonary vein. So this pulmonary vein, it has the oxygenated blood, then the pulmonary artery carries the oxygenated blood. So the word is pulmonary. So we have our next word here. This one is read as arched. However much some people they pronounce this one as arachid, but is arched, and the mistake when we're writing this word is made just between CH. So some people, instead of putting I here, they put I here, then N, they make it arachid. This is wrong. So this is the right spelling. It is read as archids, and these archids, they are arthropods, and these arthropods, for them, they have two main body divisions, right? They have two main body divisions, and they have 80 legs. The best example is the spider. We have the spider. Apart from the spider, we have the ticks, then we have what we call the dusty mites, plus the scorpions. Oh, this scorpion protects itself by stinging, and this scorpion does not lay eggs. It produces its youngs alive. So this scorpion is similar to a tsetse fly. The difference is a tsetse fly is an insect, whereas a scorpion is an arachid. However, all of them, they are under what we call arthropods, because they have segmented bodies, jointed legs, and an exoskeleton. Okay, so we have another word here. This word is read as coleoptile. It is pronounced as coleoptile. It is coleoptile. So what do you know about this coleoptile? This coleoptile, in simple terms, is called the plumule sheath. So this is the part of a maize grain that protects the plumule. Even on germinating, when that maize grain germinates, it brings out that coleoptile, protecting its shoot at that early stage. So if we try to take the diagram of a maize grain, remember we said this one's called a phareot simply because it has two scars. This scar here, which is the stalk scar, and this one, which is the style scar. Then here we are having, this one is the endosperm storing food, and this one is the cotyledon. So those ones who want to know more about this, please get the previous videos about classification of plants. Then we normally draw these, we draw two. So this upper one, it is called the coleoptile. Then this one is what we call the plumule. Then when look at this one is the radicle. Then this lower one below the radicle is what we call the coleohesa. So the opposite of coleoptile is the coleohesa. So the coleohesa protects the what? The radicle. Then the coleoptile protects the plumule. Even after germination, it keeps on protecting the shoot at that early stage. So the word becomes coleoptile. Okay, so we have this other word here. This word is pronounced as this word is read as it is read as rickets. This is rickets. The word is rickets. So rickets, this one is a deficiency disease, right? It is a deficiency disease which is caused due to lack of vitamin D. Remember, from primary 4 we said that our skins are capable of synthesizing or making vitamin D using what we call the morning sun and the evening. So the commonest sign of rickets, it is oxybo legs. So, or the ninoko legs, just like this. So this is what we call rickets. So here we have another word. This one is dehydration. The word is dehydration. What is dehydration? Dehydration is a condition, not a process. It is not a process. It is a condition when our bodies lack water. So when the bodies lack water and mineral salts, what could be the cause? When we have what we call severe vomiting and also severe diarrhea. So when we have these two conditions, they are going to result into what we call dehydration. Then lastly, we have a word here which is read as free. Then this is quen. Then the word becomes frequency. The word is frequency. So this one is seen when we are looking at sound energy. So what is frequency? So frequency means the number of times something can vibrate in only 1 second. So frequency is the number of vibrations produced by an object per watt per second, and the frequency is measured in hertz. So when you look at your woofers, when you look at your radios, there they have 1000 kilo HT, or HZ. This means kilohertz. It means that they can vibrate in 1 second. That speaker can vibrate 1000 kilos of hertz, number of vibrations. So that is frequency. My dear learner, let us take these words one more time. This is frequency, dehydration, umbilical, nucleus, rickets. This is columtile, arachid, and pulmonary. So let me hope that you've written these words in your book. Let us proceed and see our diagram for today as we normally do it. So the diagram for today is none other than a cow. So what are we going to talk about? A cow. So a cow is a domestic animal, right? Now this cow provides us with milk, and this milk gives us what we call proteins, and proteins are very important to the children. How it enables the children to grow, and again to the adults, to the mature people, it helps them. The proteins repair the worn out cells for these mature people, because for them they're no longer growing. So the babies, they need to grow, but us who are aging, we need the proteins just to repair our worn out cells. All right, so the main thing we are going to talk about this cow, it is its special characteristic. And what is that characteristic? This animal, it is a ruminant animal. It is okay, so we are going to look at its special characteristic, and that is being a ruminant animal. So what do you know about ruminant animals? So ruminant animals, these are the animals that chew the cud. So the cud, this means that after swallowing, after eating the food during the time, then on settling, they are going to agitate, they are going to vomit this food back to the mouth, then start chewing that. So this animal is good at doing that, so it is called a ruminant animal. So apart from this animal, this cow, we have other animals like the goats, then we have the sheep, they do that. Then we have the giraffes, we have the zebras, also they are ruminant animals. Then what is the special? What makes them do that? These ruminant animals, for them, they have what we call a 4-chambered stomach. So its stomach is all their stomachs are divided into 4 chambers, and these 4 chambers are we are going to name them using this abbreviation, which is called ROA. So let us get started with this one. So we are going to start with this. This is going to be our esophagus. This is the esophagus. Then from the esophagus, we are going to get the first compartment. So this first compartment is called the rumen. So this rumen is the largest stomach, largest compartment. So from this compartment, we are going to get another compartment here. This is called the reticulum. It is called the reticulum. So from the reticulum, we are going to get a small one here, which is called the omasum, Then lastly, we are getting the 4th stomach, and this one is called the abomasum. So abomasum. So lastly, this is the last compartment. Then it joins to the small intestines, that's the intestine, then the cecum, and so on. So these are the 4 compartments. The rumen, the first one is the rumen, then the reticulum, then we have the omasum number 3, then the abomasum number 4. So let us compare this one with our diagram here. So what we are having here, this is what we call the esophagus. Oh gosh, it is not the rumen. This one is the esophagus. This one is esophagus, which is transporting food from the mouth to the first compartment. Now we have this big compartment here. So this big compartment here is what we call the rumen. So the largest is the rumen, and is the first stomach. Now you normally go to the butcher, you go to the butchers and buy what we call the offals. Then those offals you are buying the 4 compartments of the stomachs of these ruminant animal. There is always that type of offal which is which you buy, which is in the form of a towel. So that one, which is like a towel, is what we call a rumen. So the importance of this rumen is to store food for a short period of time before it is re-agitated. So from there, we are going to the second stomach, and it is this one. So this second stomach is called the reticulum. It is called the what? The reticulum. So this reticulum separates the finally chewed food from the coarsely chewed food, meaning that On re-agitating, we have this food which has gone back to the mouth for chewing, and this one which has not gone. So it is this compartment that has that ability to separate it. And again, this compartment, it is towards what we call undigested or undigestible foreign bodies like sticks, hardwood, stones, and so on. And now this compartment, when you go to the butchers, it is that one which is like a honeycomb. So it has these things like this. So if you are good at buying these offals, so they are like this. Are we together? So they are like honeycombs. So this is the second compartment, which is called the reticulum. Now from the reticulum we have this one, the third one. This third one is what we have called the omasum. So this one is called the omasum. Now this omasum, it is the paper-like offal, that one which is thin and it is like a paper. So this one, its work here it's where we have what we call water absorption. So this is where water absorption takes place. Then lastly we have this fourth one. This fourth one is what we call the abomasum. This one is called the abomasum. So this abomasum, it is the fourth stomach, and it is the true stomach of these ruminant animals. So why do we call it the true stomach? Because it has what we call sulcus entericus, and thus this is a digestive juice which contains enzymes. I think you know this one, which is like a pipe. It produces that thick fluid. So that is sulcus entericus. It contains enzymes that carry out what we call the real digestion of food, the chemical digestion of the food eaten by this animal. So my dear learner, these are the four compartments. Now from here we are going to the ileum, then from the ileum we go to the cecum, then from the cecum we go to the colon, then to the anus. So this is esophagus, then rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. So the characteristics of these ruminant animals, one we've still said, they chew the cud. So cud is CUD. Then apart from that one, they have four-chambered stomachs, right? So examples, they are here: the goat, the sheep, the giraffes, zebras, and so on. So this has been our diagram for today. Let us go to the topic for today here. So today we are going to look at an interesting topic, and this is going to be a subtopic. This is going to be birth and labor. So in the previous lesson we looked at what we called the embryo in the fetus. Let us take a flashback. Embryo in what we call the uterus. So if we take the reproductive system, the female reproductive system, these ones are the fallopian tubes where we said fertilization can take place. Now what I'm drawing here, it is the uterus lining. So this one is the uterus wall or uterus lining. Now we have the inner lining here. I think we are having the inner lining like this one. So it comes like this, then up to here, then this inner lining just like this one. This inner lining is what we call the endometrium, right? This one is what we call the endometrium. And we said during pregnancy, this inner lining is maintained by a hormone, and that hormone is what we call the progesterone, right? The progesterone. And we say that this progesterone is produced by the Graafian follicle, whereby this Graafian follicle was carrying the ovum during the process of ovulation, which was made to rupture by what we call the luteinizing hormone. I think you're remembering that. Okay, now and then from there, here we say during pregnancy we have these villi, and these ones are what we call the chorionic villi. Then over this villi we are going to have this part here, and this part is what we call the placenta. Then we have a tube-like structure here. Then we are going to have our fetus like this. Now this one becomes the fetus. Then here, this is what we call the umbilical cord. Then we are having another membrane within here, and this membrane is what we call the amnion. And inside this membrane we had the fluid, and this fluid is what we call the amniotic fluid, and looked at its importance there. So we are now going to look at what we call birth and labor. So This birth is also called parturition. It is also called parturition. So what is birth? This is the expulsion. This is the expulsion of a fully grown fetus. Is the expulsion of a fully grown fetus from where? From the uterus. So it is the expulsion of a fully grown fetus from the uterus. Why do we say fully grown? Because if it comes out when it is not fully grown, then that is can be termed as the abortion, or we can term that one as a miscarriage, right? So what you call birth, the fetus has to be fully developed, and different organisms have different terms we use to differ to mean their expelling of the fully grown fetuses. For example, the kindling, which is for rabbits. We have littering for dogs, and then we have kidding for goats. Then we have following for the soda pigs. Then we have lambing, this one is for the sheep. So human beings, that one is called the what? The birth. Now during this birth, it occurs in 3 stages. One, it occurs in what we call, there is the first stage which is called dilation. Dilation. Then to dilate is okugazua, that is to dilate, okugazia, to it's like to expand, to open up. Then 2, there is what we call the expulsion of the fetus. Then 3, there is also what we call the after birth. All right, now let us see how does it start when a lady is going to produce, because in the previous videos we looked at pregnancy, we looked at the signs of pregnancy. Then now the pregnancy is ready, then let us see how will the baby, now the journey for the baby to come out. Remember, during pregnancy we said at around the 15th month, then the fetal movements, we start feeding them. As we start to feed them, it means that this fetus is rotating. Then it will rotate up to the up to the 9 months, 9 months, then that those will be 4 months, right? Then as it is rotating, it is now changing. Then the head is coming, and now the head will be facing down, and the legs are going to be pointing upwards. Now when the head reaches down here, then it means that now it is ready to be expelled. Now how does it start? This thing of giving birth by a woman, it starts by what we call the fetus and also the placenta. So these 2 things play a big role when the woman is going to give birth. So these 2, the fetus itself and the placenta, they are going to produce what we call expelling hormone factor, that one. Now this expelling or expulsion hormone factor is going to enter, after producing that, so it's going now to enter the blood of the mother. Remember, this is the fetus, this is the placenta, so here we have the blood of the mother bringing the nourishments. Then this one is going to produce that factor, even the placenta produces, then the mother's blood is going to go with that factor. When now that factor enters the mother's blood, the maternal blood, that's the mother, then it is going to cause what to call mild uterus contractions. Mild uterus contractions, it means that it's now going to start squeezing itself, coming closer and closer, that is to contract. So it is going to be mild, mpola mpola katini. Then these mild uterus contractions, they are going now to stimulate, because they are within the mother's blood, and now this signal is now going to stimulate what we call the pituitary gland, that one, the master gland within our brain. So this master gland, the moment it gets that one, senses that those mild uterus contractions, it's now going to secrete a hormone, and this hormone is what we call oxytocin. It is called oxytocin. Now this oxytocin is now going to saturate within the blood, then it's going to cause what we call powerful or strong uterus contractions, ABISA. Then it's now going to those contractions that the uterus is going to contract. Even the woman feels that. Even when you look at that woman when she's giving birth, you see how the belly is contracting, so they are going to be so mild. But what is going to do that one? It is what we call oxytocin. Before we continue, like when now these women take they are going to give birth, but when they have little oxytocin, then they put that drip for oxytocin onto them such that it causes those uterus contractions. Then after this oxytocin does this, then we are going to get another hormone which is called relaxin. Now this relaxin is going to make the cervix, remember we said the cervix controls the opening of the uterus. Now it's going to cause the dilation, the relaxing of the cervix. So it's now the cervix is going to extend backwards, then even like this. Now that extension of the cervix backwards, remember it is in between the pelvic bones, then the bones will not want to extend, then that one is going to result into the pain, and that pain she's going to receive is what we call the labor or the labor pain. So this is the pain she's going to experience when she's going to give or when she's giving. But remember, the contractions themselves, they are so painful. Even that dilation of the cervix is also painful. So the cervix has to dilate, it has to open up because the baby has to pass through, and now the baby has a bigger head, so it has to forcefully dilate. And that one, what does that one? It is the oxytocin. Then after that, because now these uterus contractions are so strong, they are going to cause the rupturing. They are going to cause the rupturing of the amnion. Let me hope that you remember the amnion. This amnion, it is this membrane, this bag, this sac where this baby is. Now when it ruptures, what is inside the amnion? So it has what we call the amniotic fluid. So this amniotic fluid is now going to pour out. The moment it pours out, then what next? Then the baby has to do what? To be expelled. That is the last one. The baby is going to be now expelled by also the help of the mother to push. Then after the baby has been expelled, we are going to see what we call the afterbirth. What is the afterbirth? The afterbirth, it is now the placenta, because now the uterus was having the fetus. Then now when the fetus has gone out, then the uterus walls, they try to shrink. As they are trying to shrink, then the uterus, remember, the placenta will now start separating itself from the uterus. Thus it will come out as the second baby. That is what we call the afterbirth. And this placenta is it weighs 500 grams, almost a half a kilogram. So that placenta has to be given out, so because it is deciduous. Then after that, when the baby is out, then the umbilical cord of this baby is folded twice and is cut. But again, some midwives, they don't know how to cut this. That's why you see some people having big berries, big berry buttons or big novels, because during the process of folding and cutting, at one time air entered inside. Then when that air enters, it makes it to swell. Then this one results into big novels. And again, immediately when this baby comes out, then this baby has to cry. Why does this baby cry? The baby cries. This one shows that the baby is now breathing, because inside here in the fetus, the gaseous exchange was taking place by the placenta. But now the baby has to cry to open up the circulatory system and also the respiratory system to take in air to make the lungs start functioning. Because the moment the baby comes out, then the lungs are going to expand. When they expand, then the baby has to do what? To cry. That crying is the first breath the baby has taken. And if the baby doesn't cry, the baby is held upside down in order to induce the crying. Then that crying, it means that now the lungs are open, the airways are open, they can start now to function well. Then if it takes some time, when this baby doesn't cry, it means that there is no supply of oxygen to the baby's brain. Now this is going to result into mental illness. Mwana nebamzala just is like katala, like that. So that one is going to disturb the mental well-being of that baby. So it is so very vital for this baby to cry, to take in enough oxygen to make the systems now function normally. Now Remember when we looked at the statutory system, we said there is what we call the hole on the heart. That is what we called the foreman's oval. And now during this period when the baby is born, that hole on the heart, it has to close. When it doesn't close, it means that now the oxygenated blood is going to mix with the oxygenated blood, then resulting into a condition called a hole in the heart, and this one is scientifically known as the blue baby syndrome. So those ones, when during birth, those things must be taken note of. So that is the process of producing, or that process of giving a birth in a labor ward. That's why it's called the labor ward, because it is so painful. And again, let us see certain conditions. We can get certain conditions where the oxytocin is not enough produced by the mother. And again, we can see when the cervix has failed to dilate well, and the abnormal growing of the child, of the baby within the fetus. So when all these things are abnormal, then the woman is going to go under what we call the C-section, and this C stands for the cesarean. So cesarean birth. So they have to cut or to operate the lower abdominal cavity, the uterus, then they remove or they expel the fetus. But this one occurs under these conditions. Now, still when you're looking at this birth, there is what we call the twins. We have also what we call the twins. Then these twins, what does it mean? These are the two children produced at the same time by the same mother. Now these twins, they are of three types. One, we have what we call the identical twins. Then we have what we call the fraternal. We have the fraternal twins. And three, we have what we call the siamese. The siamese. Then we can also get what we call the multiple twins, but these ones are not true twins. Now these identical twins, how are they formed? Remember we said we have this is the uterus, the female reproductive system. Now here we are having the ovary. Now this ovary can release the ovum by the process called ovulation. Then fertilization will take place in the fallopian tube. Then after fertilization, during the early stages of the zygote, it is going to divide into two equal halves equally. Remember this zygote, the ovum was fertilized by the same sperm. Now after fertilization, it's going to divide into two equal parts. Then this one is going to be a child, and this one is going to be also a child. Thus these ones are called the twins, and these twins are going to be identical twins. Now these identical twins, they have the same sex. If they are boys, all of them they are boys. If they are girls, all of them they are girls, and they look alike. It is difficult for you to separate them because it was one sperm, it was one ovum fertilized by one sperm. Then on forming the zygote, it divided into two equal halves. Now when we look at these fraternal twins, for them, they are of different sex. One can be a boy, another one can be a girl, or they can also be girls. But these fraternal twins, they don't look alike. They are twins, but they don't look alike. They are twins, but they don't look alike. Why? Because they were two ova produced by the ovary. So this way we can get an ovum, and even this way we can get an ovum. So this ovum is going to be fertilized by a different sperm, and even this one by a different sperm. Thus we are getting two different embryos. So this is going to be a child with different characteristics, even this one with a different characteristics. So these ones are going to be called the fraternal twins. Now the siamese, these are the twins that have common body parts. So they fuse together at a certain point, either with the hand, they are sharing the hand, or they are sharing the back or the head. So those are what we call fraternal, siamese twins. So they are connected together. Now multiple twins, these multiple twins, these are very many. They can be triplets, they can be quadruplets, triplets, and so sextuplets, and so on. Meaning that here we have very many ova. This we can get to one ova, then each ovum is fertilized by a different by a different sperm, so thus giving us what we call multiple twins. So but the real twins, we have the identical ones, the fraternal and the smears. Then these ones are multiple births. So before we close, let us also look at this, the sex of a child. A sex of a child. Remember I told you a sex of a child, it is in it means either male or a female. So what to determine the sex of a child? Now let us go back to our gametes. So we discussed the sperm. Then we have two types of sperms. There are two types of sperms. One is called the gynoecium sperm and the androecium sperm. Now gynoecium sperm, it is the sperm that is carrying X chromosomes. Now these are two sperms, one is X and another an X. Now these androecium sperms, they are the ones that are carrying Y and Y. So we have what we call sex chromosomes. We have obtained another word here, but I will not explain it into details. So a chromosome, it is just a trait, it is just a thread-like structure that carries characteristics of these DNA characteristics. Now we have sex chromosomes, and there are two. We have the X sex chromosome and the Y sex chromosome. Now these sperms, we have sperms that carry XX, and we have these ones that carry Y and Y. So but these are sperms. When you look at the ova or the ovum, all the ovum, they carry X chromosome. Now during the process of fertilization, let us look at one sperm here. We can get this sperm X now, and also this ovum X. Now during the process of fertilization, if they mate or they unite, they are going to form what we call a baby. Then this baby, the zygote, is going to be with the X and X chromosomes. Therefore this baby is going to be a baby girl. But again, if you have a sperm, the androecium sperm, which is carrying Y, is going to meet or to fuse with a chromosome that is XY during fertilization. Then they are going to produce a baby with X and Y. Then this baby is going to be a baby boy. Therefore it is wrong to say that this woman doesn't produce baby boys. That is wrong. It is the man, it is the role of you a man, to determine the sex of the child. If now you are producing only girls, it means that this man has very many sperms with XXXX. But if you are producing only boys, it means that again this man, the sperms are only Y, because we've said these ladies, for them, they only carry X chromosomes. So never to blame a woman not to produce baby boys. So this one is determined by the man, because we men, we are the ones who carry the Y chromosome, which is responsible for making XY for the baby boy. So you've been a good learner from where we started this lesson. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson and you've understood it. So down there you are going to copy the notes. Then let us go and do our activity. Okay, number one here says define the term birth. Number two, name the hormone responsible for causing powerful uterus contractions. Define the following terms. Here. 1A, kidding. B, following. C, littering. D, birth or parturition. E, it is kindling. Then number 4, where does fertilization take place? fertilization take place in a woman. Number 5, write down the 4 chambers, stomacher chambers, the 4 stomacher chambers of a ruminant. Number 6, what are ruminants? What are ruminant animals? Number 7, define puberty. Number 8, write down 2 signs of pregnancy. Number 9, how useful is the placenta to a fetus? Number 10, write HIV in full. So you've been a good learner. We meet in the next lesson.